Welcome to Reef Diary, day 100. So for the last 100 days, we have had one video a day talking about what I did with the tank each day. So I decided to check all my notes and figure out what all I accomplished during that time. So we're going to do a recap of what has occurred with my reef tank. And in no particular order. I'm just going to go down the list. It's actually amazing all the things that happened during the past 100 days. So I changed RODI filters. I did a total of 4 different water changes that added up to a total of 400 gallons. I got 1 new barrel of salt in. I cleaned the algae turf scrubber 6 times. I cleaned out I trimmed out macroalgae at the refugium twice. I dosed a total of 3 liters of potassium, and I need to keep doing that. I mixed up 2 batches of magnesium that was dosed into the tank. I dosed MB7, or Microbacter 7, for 7 days in a row. I dosed amino acids for 6 days in a row. I used Live Rock Enhance 4 times in 4 weeks. I treated for red bugs 3 times in 3 weeks and got rid of them. I glued down frags a total of 4 different times. I added a total of 38 pieces of new coral to the tank during the past 100 days. 15 corals came from Dwayne, 15 came from Seachem, 7 from Terra Reef, and then a local hobbyist gave me the Framer coral. I calibrated and replaced a pH probe. The calibration process I did twice. I added a cleanup crew. I tested water. Over 100 water tests were performed. Just mathematically, 14 Saturdays times 6 tests would be the reef alone. That's 84 tests. And then you think of the Trident that tests around the clock. I didn't even count that. And then when I do the frag system, that's 6 tests per time of doing the frag tank, which I did about 4 times. And there was times where I checked alkalinity randomly, I checked phosphate randomly, I checked potassium a lot. So I probably did more like 120 manual tests, and then whatever the Trident did. You know, they do 8 tests a day times all the days it's been running. So that's a lot of water testing. I had about 15 sessions of macro photography, including 1 late night session. I cleaned the skimmer collection cup and swabby twice. I cleaned the collection cup on the frag system probably at least 8 times. I treated the tank for cyanobacteria. Each tank, you know, the system behind me as well as the frag system, they each got treated once. I refilled the calcium reactor once. I cleaned the glass 100 times. I installed the Trident that was replaced and replaced reagents 2.5 times. I also drained the Trident waste collection, which is a jug. That had to be done once. The purple tank that had been with me for 17 years had died. I installed a battery array to run all the Ecotech equipment, which could theoretically run all of it at normal speeds for 24 hours. Nitrate R did its job, and after 8 weeks I removed it. The nitrate level near the beginning of the 100 days was around 60, and currently it has maintained around 10, so that worked out really, really well. 1 EB832 was fixed. I replaced granulated activated carbon twice. So I only used it 2 times in 100 days. That's like, not, you would think I would have done it 3 times, but I only did it twice. I used Benereef a total of 3 times. I really need to step that one up. It's one of those ones I forget about. I used Perdibio only 3 times, which should have been 6 or 8 times, so I'm not doing it over 15 days like I should. I think part of the reason I didn't use it was a duration while the tank was going through what it was going through. I didn't want to add extra things to throw things off, and so I probably pulled back, and I wasn't following a very precise schedule at that point. I rehung the XR15s and replaced one of them with a brand new Gen 5 light fixture. One day the AC died in the house, and I ended up cooling the reef with bags of ice all day long. I replaced a 7-year-old NP40. I replaced 2 10-year-old NP60s. I made top-off water 14 different times for the reef. I cleaned the Nios skimmer from completely top to bottom, complete disassembly once. I increased the PSI in the bladder tank of the RODI system. It's kind of still tank related. I vacuumed the skimmer zone clean 1 time. I replaced the Versa tubing once. I took PAR measurements once. I dosed Phosphate RX about 4 times. I used the new Live Aquarius scraper. I used the new all-plastic razor scraper I got from Amazon. I tried pump clean, and I cleaned the external overflow box. So all these things happened during the last 100 days. In addition to that, we watched the corals go from doing fantastic to going downhill rapidly to losing about half of the corals due to the potassium that was desperately lacking in the system. Once it took me about 10 or 14 days to determine what the problem was in the tank as I watched things slowly dying. And once I figured it out, all I had to do was just replace what was missing, which was potassium. And we watched the tank continue to get its color back, and then we introduced corals when the tank was safe. There was no longer red bugs in there. The water parameter was great. Nitrates are down, phosphates are controlled, and the sand bed's nice and clean. So a lot happened, and everything's looking ship-shape. To be honest, I was kind of thinking of maybe stopping at day 100 because it's a nice round number. We've accomplished what we wanted to accomplish, and now it's just a matter of keeping the tank happy nonstop. And I don't know that I want to keep going. I don't know that you want me to keep going because at some point it's just boring. You know, do you want to just keep hearing I cleaned the skimmer today or I did water tests today? I don't know. I know some of you were really motivated by this series and it made you want to work more in your tank, and I'm glad that's a great accomplishment. I'm really happy that made a difference for you and it allowed you to step up your reef keeping game. I think that's awesome. I think we should all be doing that. That's the whole point of Reef Diary, is like, what do we do with our tank each day? And because there's something that has to be done. You could never just completely neglect it. But we probably had, I'd say, 8 different days during the 100 when I didn't have to do one thing with a tank and I could just enjoy it, which was nice. But that's not the bulk of it. The bulk of it is there's always something to do, something to clean, something to replace, something to test, something to glue back down into place. So I hope you enjoyed this recap, and this is kind of a longer video, but that's okay. Feel free in the comments to tell me how you feel. I know some people made suggestions that maybe I do a weekly one now instead of a daily one and kind of tell you what all happened during the past 7 days. Not a bad idea at all. I'm kind of ready for a break. Now tomorrow's Aquashella, who knows? I might be so motivated from what I see there and what I come home with that I might have something to do a diary about anyway. But I kind of think this is a good stopping point personally. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys real soon.